Are you someone who wakes up with no motivation to go about your day? Are you someone who eagerly waits for breaks at office? Do you drag your weeks just by thinking about the weekends? Whichever category you belong to, this video is for you. Because you, my friend, are existing and not living. And you are wasting your time by existing because one day when you look back, you will not find a single day which you have lived. And that's really pathetic to happen for anybody, because this life, this time you have, this energy you have, and the knowledge you gain shouldn't be just a battle of survival. You, yes you, can create wonders when living and not surviving. You just have to think about it. Of course, we are going to pick the best lessons from the book Ikigai, but I'm not going to tell you what's exactly in the book. There are tons and tons of videos in the internet telling exactly what's in the book. I'm sure you would have stumbled upon at least one of those videos and might have even watched the entire video. But the question is, what are we doing about it? Or what should we be doing is the actual question. Well, I'm sure you know what an Ikigai is, but you don't know what an Ikigai is. Or just to revise, an Ikigai for everybody is different, and it meets in between of what you love, what the world needs, what you can get paid for, and what you're good at. So this can be a combination of your passion, mission, vocation, and profession. Alright, that's what an Ikigai is. And everybody will definitely have one. If you don't know what it is, then it needs more self-analyzing of what your Ikigai is. I have incorporated 3 points which can align our lives to our Ikigai. Number 1 is earning money is not a goal. Number 2 is your job is not God and your employer is not a friend. Number 3 is EVP. E.V.P. I'll tell you what it is when we get to that point. Let's start with the first one. Earning money is not a goal. What do I mean from this point is, if your goal is to earn money and to provide to your family or to the people in need, you would have eventually built a routine in order to do this, and that routine is going to be a definite rat race which you're going to put yourself into. Because this process or this rat race gives you the small term satisfaction of providing to the others' needs, and on the other hand, you would have the sense of achievement from your so-called goal, which is earning the money. And by doing all this, you might be considered a big guy. Yes, congratulations, all good. But sooner or later, this scenario might get saturated where the people you're providing for might not be in need for the money anymore. Or physically, you might not be capable enough to do the work that you've been doing earlier and eventually not get paid enough. On either of these situations, you will be losing that short-term satisfaction that you've been getting and the sense of achievement. There comes the realization that neither earning money nor providing for others were what you really wanted to do. You will realize that there is something else deep down, that spark that you've snubbed early on, long ago, which still has a little voice in you to take up that activity and pursue it for your happiness. I'm talking about people who spend their entire time gardening. It gives them immense joy. The plants talk to them, they say. Those are the happiest people I've ever seen. I'm talking about people who sit in front of a canvas not knowing what the clock is. Their entire time is spent dwelling into recreating their visions, their memories onto the canvas. I'm talking about people who write poetry until their last breath, or read tons and tons of books. These are the people who live their life unstoppably, spending every day in their flow. Flow is a state of deep concentration which you can achieve only when you're doing what you love to do. Now, what is that one thing for you? Find it. You should be able to do it, if not every day, but at least on the weekends, to keep yourself, your heart happy. Someday you might not be physically fit enough to do that, but nothing stops you from learning it or teaching it or enjoy somebody else do it. Find your passion and strive to dwell in it. It always shows you the right path for happiness. Moving on to the second point. Your job is not God and your employer is not a friend. Whatever I'm going to tell you now doesn't apply if you love your job. If you wake up excited to get to your work, then this doesn't apply to you. For others, wherever you work, corporate, coding, accountant, sales, whatever it is, your job is not God and your employer is not your friend. They have just very politely taped your mouth with the salaries and bonuses they give you. Alright, it is what it is. You are there doing that job, taking the salary and fixing all your financial needs. Might as well save for the future. good for you. But know that you were just retained or convinced to stay at that place for that salary because you are worth much, much more. Listen, there is a threat to these companies. If you know your complete potential and do whatever you can excel at, then what do these companies do? It's not that you're irreplaceable. I'm sure you will be replaced the very next day with a much better dumb face. But what if all the dumb faces know their actual potential and don't be the dumb face anymore? What if they achieve more than what they think of? Then who will be doing these silly jobs anymore? That, my friend, is the threat for the companies. And that is where all these bonuses and salary hikes come into place. Coming to my point, you will need to find what interests you more in the market, like clothing, exporting, electronics, or services. Pick the one that interests you the most. Analyze the market. Find that one need in the market. Frame a proper business plan according to analysis. We do it on a daily basis just with random thoughts, right? See how much of a calculated risk you can take and start that damn business. At the least, you might fail if the planning was bad, but please don't give up because you know how to do it much better the next time. And just imagine if it works out. You would be building a passive income for yourself where you need not think from check to check and concentrate on what is required, more intimate things like what makes you happy, like what do you want to do and how do you want to spend your time, which makes it more meaningful. Just imagine if the business you're thinking about and whatever that makes you happy goes hand in hand. Like if cooking is your passion, if that is what makes you happy, and if your business plan is to have a cloud kitchen or a restaurant, then it's a jackpot, isn't it? If not, my point is we shouldn't leave one for the other. That's where you'll find your equilibrium. You'll find your Ikigai. Because you can't pursue your passion to the fullest when you're struggling to meet the financial needs. Or you can't be really happy by just meeting your financial needs and not pursue your passion at all. It's a very paradoxical situation. And that is why we need to find an equilibrium. And that is where the state of Ikigai lies in. Moving on to the next point, which is EVP. This part is all about living healthy, flexible, and most importantly, independent at whatever age you are in. So E expands to exercise. Obviously, exercise is very important for you to be flexible and healthy, just fit in the right way. Doing weight training at least thrice a week is very essential to maintain the muscle mass that we have. As we all know, we adults tend to lose 1% of the muscle mass every year after we hit 30. So it's very essential to grow the muscle mass by weight training, and to maintain it, of course, coming to V and P. V expands to vegetables, P expands to protein. So all we need in our plate is vegetables and protein. And you need not really find the sources of carbs in your meals because we tend to gain it by any other means, like while snacking or by the beverages we drink. So vegetables, where we get all the minerals and vitamins, and clean proteins, which is essential to maintain the muscle mass that we gain out of exercising. So that is all we need to eat or we need to do in order to maintain our body fit, flexible, and healthy to live longer. So whatever your goals were so long, I would request you to revisit them and make sure they're not materialistic, not to earn a certain amount or not to get a thing like a car or a house. That wouldn't be a sustainable goal that we are working at. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video was helpful. Until I see you next time, you take care of yourself.